Cover the doorway as they start to defuse. Pengu goes for one on the young. Can he go the second?
Mid, what are you doing? What just happened? Why are you sprinting, Bio?
Hungry. He gets the edge.
Oh, he's Moringa, are you ready for this?
Oh!
Yes! Pengu, are you kidding me?
Why am I so much better than you? God damn!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of SiegeGG Live. I am Shikhar Gupta, as you well know, and with me also the very great writer, very solid Spanish Catalonian guy, David. And we're here with another episode of SiegeGG Live, and this week, I don't know whether it was like particularly different or anything, but it kind of felt like more of the same. Although there were some surprises as well. It was a little bit more
It was
muted.
more of the same, honestly.
Yeah, not too unexpected. Like, you only got a sense of what was happening, right, in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, honestly, not much has happened. Like, G2 struggling still, like, very bad performance, but that's not big news.
Yeah.
In NA, well, you could say Gio's absence was like
I guess, yeah,
important. In Brazil, you have Black Dragons doing really good, Team Liquid doing really bad.
Yeah.
And in APAC, then you have like the usual stuff, honestly. Well, yeah, in APAC.
Koreans are doing well.
There's not like, Koreans are doing well as usual. Not big news, honestly.
Yeah, well, so let's get into it. I mean, we're just gonna get started right away with all the things that we got to talk about. As per usual, we're gonna start with APAC. We're gonna move on later to South America and Mexicano. Then we'll go over to BR6, UL, NAL, and we'll play a fun little stats game at the end. So starting with APAC, let's go for it. APAC North. So we did say it wasn't too surprising overall, and let's be real, SiegeGG choking is not that much of a surprise, but SiegeGG choking in APAC North is a little bit of a surprise, and especially choking against Fnatic. So if you guys don't know what happened, SiegeGG this week, they lost in overtime to Fnatic, a Fnatic who was basically, this whole time, has looked so poor, so sloppy, and they were extremely sloppy too in this very matchup. David, I sent you that clip of that 1v4 that Anitun got.
I cannot, like,
it was played worse than you and I would do it in unranked.
It's like stick in my mind.
Like, seriously, it was so bad. They had 4 people up. They lost 1 on the plant, sure. But okay, whatever. Like, that Fnatic's playing poorly. And the fact that Cyclops lost to these guys playing at this level, it's a very bad look for Cyclops. And the bigger question from there, of course, is like, what is Japan Siege's future? What is coming out of that region right now? Because right now it's looking like Cyclops has not learned anything from Charlotte.
Not just from Charlotte. They are that team that qualifies and does nothing internationally speaking.
Yeah.
They always get, like, a result here and there. Invitational 2022, they upset Team Empire, and I think they brought to overtime BDS, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. It sounds right. Like, they had a couple of close
I'm talking
scores.
about 2021. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
they had some. 22 was like against Team Liquid and everything, and they always like play good Siege, but they cannot advance from, like, they cannot survive the group stage. We saw it on Mexico. It looked like it could have been the occasion, but we know what happened with Team 1. Honestly,
they haven't
right
looked
now
as good as they did since Mexico. Like, they looked good in Mexico, and after that, just
they deflated. But right now, South Korea is incredibly is ahead, is way ahead of
Yeah.
Japan. We have to say that Japan's only victory this stage against Korea,
Against, yeah.
it was a Cyclops 7-5 victory against Spear Gaming,
And Spear's the
which
worst of
is
the
not
Korean
like,
teams. They
yeah,
have 0
exactly. It's
points
not.
so
Mm.
far.
And
Yeah.
they were playing with a coach or something like that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, 11 has been out with like a back injury from the start of the
Exactly.
stage. Don't know whether he's
Exactly.
going to
That's
make it
it.
back. And honestly, I
Uh-huh.
think a couple of those Spear losses could have been converted into wins had I-11 been there. So I
Yep.
don't think Spear themselves are bad. And the fact that it took Cyclops like 7-5, that was the scoreline, to beat
Mm-hmm.
Spear, not a good look. And it's finally come to hurt them with this 8-6. They are basically out of Berlin major running at this point. It is not looking good. It needs a
It's
miracle.
they are still there. They are just 3 points away
Yeah,
from
but
Sandbox. Yeah. I mean, yes, it's difficult because they have already lost against Sandbox.
yeah, look
So
at who
it's
they play
difficult.
next. They play
Yeah, they are playing Fab
Talon,
Gaming. They are playing Talon.
Damwon, yeah,
Yeah, but at the same time, that
and
one has.
Sandbox.
I mean, they have to play. Yes, I mean, right now it doesn't look good for them.
You're
But
freezing
if
a
they
bit
win
today, I
against
think.
Talon and if they win against them one, really?
Yeah, your video might be freezing a little bit today. Sorry for the technical
Ah,
issues, but we'll try to press on. Um, Yeah, but you're right, David, that Cyclops are kind of there, but you gotta like we all gotta understand like they have a
yeah.
-1 like round differential. Sandbox is a +5. Both Sandbox and Cyclops are set to play against Damwon. Sandbox gets even a point from Damwon, and I think like that's basically they are gonna get out of reach of Cyclops. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Talon might jump them.
Mm-hmm.
Even freaking Reject might jump them. Who are also a surprise team so far. But like the moment like Sandbox and Cyclops has like a 4 point gap, and I think that is over in that point. I don't see Cyclops getting a single point from Damwon. Like just looking at the
Ah.
future games, like they have Fav up next. Fav are down
Mm-hmm.
at with 1 point, so they should win. They should get all 3 points against Fav. But then after that is
Yeah.
Talon. Talon have looked absolutely superb with
Yep.
Marvel and Misa. Then they go up against Damwon. If this doesn't break their spirit for the final day clash against Reject, who are looking like the best team from Japan apparently in this situation, then I don't know, because like Reject also, were close with Sandbox. Sandbox was
Mm-hmm.
max OT with CAG. Like so that Sandbox loss and this Fnatic loss, I think is just too much for Cyclops to overcome, and it's a serious problem, I think, right now when it comes to like APAC in general, because it doesn't seem like teams are learning too much, or whatever they're learning, it's inapplicable to what is seen in APAC North. So maybe CAG changed some things up, but then whatever they're trying to change is not working in APAC North, or they are like, oh no, we're not going to change what we do in APAC North, and that's just like, dude, like it's done. That play style's over. It's in the past. You got to forget about it, etc., etc. It feels very overdone. I don't really know, but it feels like this is it. So that's CAG out of the running effectively, in my opinion, for Berlin, which is not great
Yeah.
for APAC because that reduces one chance of an SI participant,
I mean,
SI
they
2023
can finish
participant.
in third or in fourth.
Yeah,
That's gonna get them a few points.
yeah, a little bit.
But still, yeah, it's
Yeah,
not the ideal situation for APAC.
indeed. And then of course you have the other teams like South Korea, Damwon. They're coming in. They didn't get any points in stage one, but they're obviously they had mitigating circumstances. Now they're back. They look very much in
They got a
form.
few.
Yeah, they look. I mean, as in like they didn't like get to go to the major and get
Yeah.
their
Okay.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like the extra stuff that you get.
Mhm.
Yeah, and as you said, Damon's just tearing it up over here. Best
Yeah.
3 players in the competition by stats are Damwon players, and
Yeah.
surprisingly, I think Yas is not number 1.
No, the first one is Woogieman, I think.
Yeah, Woogieman, Yas, and Coded, and Woogieman's like
Yep.
well ahead, 1.39 rating. Yeah, he's
I
doing
mean,
really well.
if you have a quick glance at the ratings, you realize that 3 out of the best 10 players in the competition are from Japan, and the rest are from South Korea. It is a quite impressive stat, and
Wait,
it
the top 10 by
kind of
rating?
says,
No, that's it's actually only, yeah, correct. So yeah, 2 Tadadiki and Light are the only 2 Japanese players in the top
okay, yeah.
10, and then after that, the rest of them are
Sure.
Koreans. Like even Mephi from Spear is up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
before
kind
any
of
before any Japanese player turns up. The
yeah.
highest CAG player is 1.06, who is just above the worst Damwon player and the worst Sandbox player, Rin and Static at 1.04, and oh no, the worst Damwon player is Cat Tanks. My bad. But regardless, it's not a good look. Like they're looking
It
so
is not.
sloppy, CAG, yeah, and I don't know what to say. Reject on the other hand, and I just noticed this actually, they're in
Yeah.
P3. David.
Um. Yeah. Uh. I think that last stage they did something very similar. They won 2 games and then they suddenly banished again.
Mm,
We might be in front of it again now. They have played against Sandbox, but the rest of the teams have been like, I mean, Fnatic. They have been struggling
yeah.
for what feels like decades now. But maybe with Mac and Diesel in the team now, maybe they, improve a little bit by, getting the advices and I don't know, getting better maybe. But they
Yeah,
have
it
beaten
feels
like
like
Fnatic
maybe.
and Fab. Then next week they are facing Talon, and then the next week they are facing Damwon.
Damwon, yeah.
So that's not a very good schedule to say the least. Like it's going to be, and yeah, then it's Spare Gaming and finally Cyclops. It's not the easiest of the calendars possible. I don't think they are Berlin major material. I think they are going
Yeah.
to
I think they need some time in the cooker.
lose the next couple games. Honestly, that's my opinion. Maybe they, I don't know, upset the big teams and they sneak in the top 2 and they make it to the Berlin Major. But honestly,
But APAC youth talent isn't Brazilian youth talent. Let's just
yeah,
put it that way. Like
yeah,
where in Brazil it's like the new guys are dominating,
hmm
but in APAC
yeah,
it really is. You have to like keep yourself
material.
up there before, and basically you poach all the good players, it seems, slowly and slowly. Cyclops, of course, not doing that at all, and it just seems like they are kind of falling off a little bit. They haven't seen they don't really know what to do with the fundamentals. In fact, actually, one thing actually that I thought about and I forgot to mention just now is that Cyclops reminds me a lot of like G2 in the sense like they don't know how to like do a lot of the fundamentals, like just extremely weird things, just sprinting straight into
Yeah, I kind
gunfights
of
or
see the
like
comparison.
missing their shots.
Yeah,
I don't understand why, because we know these guys are extremely good fraggers. Team One, Neos, especially the old Team One, knows especially how good of fraggers they are. So it's confusing to me what's happening, but yeah, that's APAC North. Over in
hmm
APAC South, Chiefs. Another Charlotte major representative from APAC. They're not going to be at Charlotte they're not going to be in Berlin. They're not going to be in the next major.
yeah. It's not confirmed just yet, but if you
It's
think Chiefs are
basically,
going
yeah.
to be in Berlin, then you are delusional. Only 4 games left.
Opium and
Only
copium.
4 games left. Yeah, only 4 games left. Round differential of Negative
minus
10.
10.
So, yeah, minus 10. That's insane. They have to play the Knights. They have to play Invictus Gaming. They have to play
Elevate.
Elevate. They
Oh,
have to play. I mean,
wild
Wildcard.
card. Yeah, wild card is.
I don't see. I think I said it last week. I don't see Wildcard as
Yeah,
major
fair
material.
enough.
And this week was an example of that.
Yeah, they got smacked by Knights.
Uh, Against the Knights, Wildcard was not there. Honestly, they were not there.
True,
Um,
true.
it was a tough game,
We noted this
and
last week. Like it's like Vincia frags out in
yeah,
the Direwolf game,
exactly.
especially. And that's how they win the rounds. And Direwolves are also hobbled because of their two COVID diagnoses. And here, Vincia was shut down, and it just looked like, as you said, Wildcard were not there.
Yep. They struggle a lot at getting entry kills, I think too.
Mm-hmm.
At least against Direwolf, that was the case, and against the Knights, that was the case as well.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, I just don't see them like performing good enough to like go to Berlin. Again, they might surprise us, but I don't think so. Then we have Direwolves. I don't know what to say about Direwolves, honestly.
I assume because like COVID takes like 8 days to kind of get out of the system, they got diagnosed on play day 2, like the COVID like
Yeah,
the
okay.
lines turned. So maybe in play day 3 they were still recovering, and like personally speaking, even though I was like fully vaccinated, three doses, it really hit me pretty hard. Like the fatigue stayed. So I won't blame them that, that it was like a tough situation for them. They got pushed to max OT by Chiefs. They look sloppy, in like, especially if you see that bouncing balls ace. If you saw that, they just one by one sprint straight at him, barely do any damage to bouncing balls. Who's on a nomad, not even like a Finka or anything. And yeah, that was like a desperate attempt to get 3 points. It seemed, but they're not like they're not lost yet. I think they might still be able to recover it, but it is Apex South, and they are already 3 points adrift from number 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, the standings are very, very close. I would say everyone except for the Chiefs has solid shot to the top 2, because it feels like anything can happen in any game. But yeah, I would say honestly my favorites to qualify right now are Gaming Gladiators and Elevate. Gaming Gladiators have been like very good, very, very good, and they could qualify to the Berlin Major, which APAC doesn't need that in terms of 6 invitational points. We always talk about this, but APAC is not in a solid place right now in terms of 6 invitational points, and sending teams who didn't score 6 invitational points in the first stage is just bad for the region's hopes for the six
Yeah.
invitational.
It is like at this point, it's very realistic for this stage. Only Elevate is going to qualify. Elevate didn't actually physically go to Charlotte,
Yeah,
but like they
but they
went
qualify.
to Charlotte, and so they got the extra like 50 points from like attending Charlotte for being even the last place team in the groups. So they have that going for them at the very least, but Direwolves may not make it, and in fact, really, as you said, Gaming Gladiators look like they're really gonna go. So the second spot is then between Elevate or Direwolves. If one of the two is going to go, we still might see Elevate dodge a LAN. We still might see Direwolves not recover from like the COVID in time, or like they drop enough points that Wildcard and Knights just sneak in above them. So on and so forth. It's looking a little bit dire for APAC in my opinion. Like, geez, one APAC team at SI 2023, which is going to be the qualifier team, looking more and more realistic. I don't know. Obviously, we have hope for Damwon to make a deep run. Hope for Sandbox to make a deep run. which would
That's
mean that
hope.
like if they do it in this major or like the APAC major in November, then they will make it through in the top 16 for sure. But like who knows? APAC is so unpredictable, and
Yeah,
yeah.
I've just realized
Hmm.
Game and Gladiators and Elevate are facing each other next week.
Yeah, so they're gonna take points off of each other most likely, and that's
Yeah.
gonna bring like a wild card and Knights back into the fight. Direwolves back in the fight. IG are still technically in the fight
Yeah.
because they
They
have
are
the same
facing wild
points.
cards,
Yeah,
and the Knights considering Chiefs. I mean, I think that the Knights are going to be the team who's going to be favored
yeah. Let's not
by
forget.
the Game and Gladiator Elevate score.
Let's not forget. Like, although when Luna Middle was on IG, his team went to international events and didn't do much there. They got to
Yeah.
international events. Like they were kind of consistent at getting to international events since the first time. Once they got that out of the way back in the day in 2019. After that, consistently they've only missed Mexico when Luna Metal was on the team, and obviously SI 2022. Um, and SI 2022 was also by like a narrow margin because they got like a late notice or something like that. Uh, for Knights, they have qualified this. Three of their players have qualified for a major. They couldn't attend last year in August. 1 year
Yeah.
to the month coming up soon with Berlin. So yeah, definitely don't count them out. I think Knights are one to watch. They are improving. And Stiggs is one hell of a player. Just incredible performances from him. They face
Yeah.
Chiefs. They should destroy Chiefs. They face Fury, who are not to be
Yeah.
underestimated anymore.
But
Then Direwolves and
I
Gaming
I
Gladiators.
I know that the Chiefs are like we can roll them out of like Berlin major run, but I feel like they can upset anyone. Like you have to like think of the Chiefs like you know that they are players that can get like a very good, they can get a very good game.
Hmm.
So you cannot get distracted by the fact that they are at the bottom of the standings. You know that Ethan has a very good like firepower, and you have like bouncing balls as well, and other players that they have a very good potential, and they can upset you. They made it to the Charles Mayer for a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a difficult start, but who knows? Maybe they upset the next few teams. So if I was the Knights, I wouldn't see them as that team that's at the bottom of the standings, but the team that you have to get the 3 points, and it's very important because if you don't and others do, that can be like the difference at the end of the stage.
Yeah. And just closing out this Apex South discussion, I was watching obviously Apex South a couple of days ago on Thursday, and I was just sitting there and wondering, is the reason that Chiefs is struggling so hard, could it potentially be the fact that they've lost like half of their scrim partners? I think I raised this point pre-season.
Yeah,
I think I raised it
you
pre-season.
did it.
That was a theory back then, but it's like it kind of seems to be intensifying, or like the theory and like the real life experience seems to be
It
coming
could be, yeah.
together. Because it just seems like they just don't know what to do. You have like all the players, they're very good, as you said. They're winning the entries like nobody's business. Bouncing got the ace the other day, extremely good on the trigger. Worthy, we already know how well he can play. Ethan's destroying people on the Finca, right? Like he has such strong players on the team that we saw their potential at Charlotte, but it seems like they just don't like have everything to tie it together. It's like the opposite problem of what Fury was having last stage. Really, Fury just like couldn't win their gunfights. Like they had the good ideas, you could see, but every time they like swung someone, they lost the gunfight. And Chiefs is like they're winning the gunfights, but they're getting outsmarted by they basically got outsmarted by direwolves. And Harambe was like still, I think, suffering from COVID pretty intensely. Don't know. it might be true. I bet even if you ask them, and I do plan to ask Todd and Ethan, like, what's happening. I do plan to ask what is the fallout of that. Maybe sometime in the midseason, maybe after the stage is over, because it's such a curious thing and kind of highlights how unfair it is for Chiefs to get screwed over for something that really wasn't their fault.
Yeah, I completely agree, honestly. Like, if that's the reason behind, then that's a shame, honestly. Uh,
Yeah, I think.
but again, we cannot ignore the fact that Chiefs is a really good team
Yeah,
and can upset anyone in the league, honestly.
there's a
It's
good
not
team
like
under there.
seeing Fury, you know?
Yeah, last stage Fury, by
Last
the way.
stage Fury.
This
Yeah,
stage
last
Fury, the
stage
same as
Fury.
Chiefs,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
cannot underestimate them. Yeah,
Exactly.
cool.
Uh,
Now that's pretty much it for APAC.
yeah.
Let's move on to talking about Sudamericano and Mexicano. David?
It's getting pretty interesting, honestly. Because this week it's super weak in South America. Not Mexico. Mexico has just 2 play days, which
Mm-hmm.
they take place on Sunday and Monday, I think. South America has had 2 play days in the last 2 days, and the league comes to an end today. And we have 3 teams tied at 11 points at in the top of the standings. We have Furious Gaming, Leviathan, and Isurus in the top 3, but only 2 can make the Copa Elite 6.
Mm-hmm.
So Furious victory again, like a Leviathan victory in the first game of the day against New Star would secure them a spot in the Copa Elite 6. The same happens with Furious if they win against Malvinas, which would be a problem, especially for Pampas. Pampas
Yeah.
is that Argentinian side that pushed Furia Esports to a third map in the Copa Elite 6 last stage. If Pampas had won in Theme Park against Furia Esports, they would have been in Charlotte, which would be it would have been something incredible.
Would have been crazy, yeah.
Um, and that result guaranteed Pampas 225 Six Invitational points, which is insane considering that teams like FaZe Clan, Black Dragons, MIBR, uh, even Zero Zero Nation, Ninja in Pyjamas, INTZ, those teams didn't make the Copa Elite 6 because of, the rules in Brazil. Only the top 4 advanced to the Copa Elite 6. But you can say that all of those 6 teams that didn't qualify for Copa Elite 6 are better than Pampas, most likely. So again, not having Pampas in the Copa League 6 would be a big blow for South American fans because um, if Pampas qualifies for every Copa League 6 stage, there's the small chance that Pampas qualifies for the 6 Invitational 2023, which would be massive for the region. So I honestly hope they can somehow qualify because it would be incredible to see someone from the region in an international event, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I mean, they need a miracle, and it could happen, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. And I think that Furious Gaming and Leviathan are going to qualify.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about Mexico,
Yeah.
very quick here. It's open. The race is still open, but I think that Team Cruelty is going to qualify for Copa Elite 6, and they are going to be followed by um Six Karma, most likely, I would say. I would love to see Alpha Team again in Copa League 6, uh, especially because they have been getting Twister's help since since he parted ways with Fury Esports. But the schedule is not the best for them because they are facing Team Cruelty in the last game of the week, of the week. Um, and they are right now outside of the top two, and dropping important points against sites like Phoenix Esports or against Six Karma. You cannot afford losing points against these sites if you want to qualify for the Copa Elite Six. So it's tough for the team who has Toski, for example. Toski is a very well-known player
Yeah.
in Mexico.
I do notice the stats every now and then when they like get posted. I'm like, oh, it's Tusky again.
Yeah, he's always there. We well, he got banned and he basically he was signed for the first time after the ban, just before the closed qualifiers, the six invitational closed qualifiers that took place in Sweden.
Hmm.
And since then he has been in the Mexican scene again, and he's a really good player. He's like a legend in Mexico. But I think that he's not going to be in the Copa League Six, not Alpha Team. My favorites are Team Cruelty and Six Karma. And that's everything from me for South
Yeah, like
America and Mexico.
we
Should we
might
move
have
on to
to.
Brazil?
Yeah, we might have to pay more attention to South America and Mexico in the future because, as you said, we might see one of those teams make it internationally, but most likely to make it from Copa Elite Six, obviously, are the teams from
Yeah.
Brazil. And damn, I think let's start with like the big one. All right, let's start with the big one. A team that is probably looks like it's not going to make it from Brazil. It's Team Liquid with
That's
Paluh and Nesk, semi-finalists at Charlotte. They're looking like they're in the worst form of their life. Paluh and Nesk are bottom 12 rated in the BR6. Bottom 12! And Ask is also bottom 9. What the hell is happening?
I'm just having a look at the stats right now, and Team Liquid, all of their members are under the 0.9
Yeah.
rating. That like there's no player who has like a 0.9 rating. Resets is the highest rated player with a 0.89.
Yeesh.
That says a lot of how the team is playing. You have PSK, who is currently 0.5 in terms of entry kills.
Yeah.
You have Ask, who is in 3 in terms of entry kills again. Paluh is not getting the kills. They
Nesk isn't
have
either.
lost. Yeah, they have lost very important games against, for example, INTZ. They have lost against Black Dragons. That was maximum overtime, but still. They had a really rough weekend, honestly. Saturday was what I said, a loss against INTZ. Then they they fell against W7M. Both matches took place in Clubhouse.
Yeah, at this point,
Fury
stop.
Team Liquid didn't show up basically. Um, they had a really bad performance, and the thing is that we're talking of Team Liquid, and I'm sure they're going to fix this. They are going to fix it. Like I have no doubts.
The
And
question
honestly,
is, can they fix it in time?
I'm still confident they are going to make. Sorry?
Can they fix it in time? Like,
I think
obviously,
so.
I think stage 3, sure. But they're already 4 points behind P4,
Yeah.
who's Furia Esports. And they play Furia this coming Saturday. aka tomorrow.
Yeah. That's where... That's the important game of the week. Because
if they lose
Furia wins...
Yeah.
If Furia wins, that's pretty much done. Team Liquid are not going to be there.
See, the thing is, Furia has looked so good so far.
I think that in order to qualify for Copa Elite 6, you need like 14 points. Furia. Yeah.
Dude, Furia have been so good. They beat 7-4 like MIBR. Sure, they lost to W7M, but then they beat Team 1. Team 1 who are second right now, like tied on points with W7M at the top. They beat FaZe. Sorry, they didn't beat FaZe. They smashed Zero Zero
0-0
Nation
Nation.
7-0. So like Furia are in form, and like the Julio signing seems to be really working for them. So like, can Liquid really win this tomorrow?
I have to say, yeah, I think so. I think so.
What makes you think
I
so?
still think.
The form doesn't agree with you. Like
I
the
know, I
stats don't
know,
agree with you.
I know.
So why? So like convince me. Convince me why Liquid's gonna win this.
I cannot convince you with that. No, I cannot convince you, and I know it's stupid. I just know that this team. If there's a team in Brazil that can uh change their form instantaneously, it can
Mhm.
be. It is Team Liquid. That's the only team in Brazil. Uh, it's going to be difficult. It's difficult. Well, Fury has honestly they have impressed me. I didn't expect them to like keep up with the previous results under Twister after changing Twister for Julio. Um, but I still think that Fury Esports has to get better. They can get better.
Mhm.
Liquid, yeah, Liquid. The stats are not good. Liquid, the stats are not good. They have been playing really bad. Last week it was like a week to forget. I've never seen such a side like I've never seen Liquid playing that bad. But I think that they can get their shit together again. Um, Results say otherwise, I know, but I have the feeling that Liquid can they can change the momentum, and we will see next week if this is just pure BS or if the results say otherwise. We will see. Um, Talking about well, not bad teams, but bad performances, I think that we have to pay attention to 0-0 Nation.
Yeah. What the
Zero
hell,
Zero
man?
Nation have been playing really bad. Really bad.
We have
Against Furia,
talked
they played really bad.
We've talked teachers up so much, like, oh, he's a good
Yeah,
coach, and obviously he is because he like freaking won the major. But like,
he
why
is.
can't he
Yeah, for
get
sure.
like three of those five players, Neskin, KDS, and Levy, combined with the
Honestly,
former Liquid guy, 60K? Why can't he get them to work together?
honestly, Team One's. I know that there are 3 players that played for Team One in
Hmm.
the Mexico Major run, and they played together for a whole year. But Team One's main
Keep him over the left.
characteristic last year was their um I forgot the word now. Their well, they were like a very good group together. Like they were like really insanely together. They were friends. They were like synergy. I forgot that word. They
Ah,
had a really good synergy,
yeah.
and that made the final difference. Um, they were in the same, they knew what they wanted, and I think that with Sexy Cakes and Live additions, the team has lost a little bit that thing. I know the work is behind, and they have been working a lot, but the results are not there. Honestly, I'm not sure if you watch these games, but I watched the NIP against 0-0 Nation,
Yeah.
and NIP could have won that game 7-0 pretty much perfectly. It could have been 2 7-0s in the same weekend. It was a really two bad performances from 0-0 Nation, and they must change that. They have to find how. Which brings me to NIP. I want to talk about NIP. I know that NIP has won their last 5 games. 5 games, 2 games. They have now 5 points from
Yeah.
those 2 victories. But I'm not sure. They have improved. That for sure. Their game on Cafe against Zero Nation was solid. It was really good. Their attacks were on point. And in fact, the only 2 defenses that Zero Zero Nation won were clutches, if I'm not mistaken. At least
I
one.
think so, yeah.
NIP has improved, but I'm not sure if these wins are because the improvement or because they played against two sides that are not comparable to other teams at the top. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's my only doubt. And NIP are facing FaZe Clan and WSRM this weekend. If they can get good results this weekend, then I'm going to retract myself and I'm going to say, okay, this is Berlin major material.
Yeah.
They can qualify. But right now, I'm gonna say that I don't see them qualifying for the major, not yet.
It's
But
so
they are
weird.
going. They are in the good line. They are like getting the results now, at least, and they are. If I'm not mistaken, they are still in relegation zone.
Oh,
Um,
wait, what?
I think that they are still in the relegation zone. They are still at the bottom of the
Zero Nation, right?
standings, despite the good results this weekend. Is it Zero Nation now or still
Zero.
NIP?
No, zero. Oh, the combined one, right? Let me go
Yeah,
have a
combined
look.
one. Yeah, NIP is with
Yeah,
8 points and Zero Nation is ninth with 11.
yeah. Okay, cool. I vaguely remember Zero Nation kind of dropping in there. Yeah, no, I think NIP they're still finding their groove. Um, it's fine. Stage 2 is a wash. They're not gonna make it a Berlin major, like most likely, but I think it's gonna be all
Okay.
right because they will probably as we discussed this last week they're probably gonna figure it out by stage 3. We've seen like the injection of like youth help pretty much every single team in
Mm-hmm.
Brazil, and Wiz and Sneepy are both quite young people with fresh ideas of how the game should be played. Maybe that is the difference between NIP and like FaZe and Liquid, or like, even MIBR. You know, and NIP seem to be on the upturn. FaZe, MIBR, Liquid seem to be on the downturn. And like, I don't know, like are Liquid, FaZe, and MIBR just too far entrenched in like outdated ideas or something? Or maybe not Liquid because
Nah,
they
I
have
don't
ask
think
and
that's
resets.
I don't think that's the issue. I just think it was just not a good weekend. That's my honest opinion. I just think
True.
that the map was not the right fit. Um, and they just struggled. Um,
Unfortunately, in Brazil, you have one bad weekend and that's pretty much like almost a death knell for you.
mhm,
It's really tough to recover from that.
yeah. Yeah, especially against these teams, you expect the win against INTZ, and I'm sure other Copa League 6
Yeah.
favorites are going to win against INTZ, which is some points that Liquid is not going to have. But
INTZ like push NIP to max OT. That means like they're kind of the same level. The fact that Liquid lost to INTZ just the day
yeah,
before
I know.
so
Yeah, I agree with
badly,
that
it's
observation.
like
Yeah.
Liquid are like, I don't know, they are getting in their heads. Maybe they're trying too much fancy stuff in response to their loss to Dark Zero in Charlotte. Whatever it is, they need to like revert to basics and figure out what the hell it was that made Paluh and Nesk frag.
I honestly think they can revert it. Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Um,
We'll see whether that
honestly,
works. Yeah.
Liquid has the level to win the rest of the games if so. In order to qualify for Copa League 6, you need 13, 14 points. They are with 4 and they have like 5 games more to play.
Yeah.
Um, I think that is very doable. Considering how consistent this site has been, considering the names in the site, think Liquid can qualify for Copa League 6. Like, there's no doubt. If they win against Furia Esports, then they are
They're back in the fight. Yeah, basically.
there, like just 1 point away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then,
exactly. But they have to win this game.
yeah, they have to win and they have to kind of like hope, I guess, The three teams, the three other teams ahead of them, NIP, INTZ, and FaZe, both of them, all three of them also need to kind of drop points either this weekend or somewhere along the line. They need to drop points, and they probably will. But with Liquid's form or Liquid's form and the competitiveness of Brazil, Liquid are also going to drop points. Like Liquid still have their Team 1 matchup, upcoming. They still have MIBR, and they still have FaZe. Those are like, and of course Furia, which is on Saturday. They've only cleared, out of the big hitters, they've only cleared W7M, which was a loss. Yeah, and actually Black Dragons as well, which is also a loss. So, yeah. Speaking of Black Dragons, yeah. What the? Where have these guys come from? Like, internationally, you and, like, for example, you are very much in tune with the Brazilian scene, but like someone from NA, EU, or like even like me from APAC, they look at the standings, they're like, what? Black Dragons is first? So tell us what's happening over here.
Black Dragons is a very solid roster. I love Black Dragons. Black Dragons have been in Siege since 2017, which is a lot. They are probably the oldest brand organization, whatever you want to call it, in Brazil. They were here before FaZe Clan, Liquid, and all these big teams joined the scene. And the impact Black Dragons has had in Siege is incredible. They have a women's team, like they have always been in the fight in the male section. If you pay attention to the other players in the league, 9 of the 10 teams in Brazil have at least one player or coach that has worked for Black Dragons. Black Dragons has discovered so much talent in Brazil. It's insane. And Black Dragons has had this thing. Big teams have been signing Black Dragons players. Remember, Black Dragons' most successful roster signed for NIP. They eventually were crowned international champions.
Yeah, exactly.
We had like other like players who come from Black Dragons. And last year the roster started to look very good, but Liquid signed resets, which made the team sign. They were forced to sign Baseto. And I remember talking to Perez, and he said that it was not the same thing because with resets, the team started to work to get the right results. But obviously, when you get that offer, the team has nothing to do.
Yeah,
remember
I'm
that
sure Liquid
the
threw
economical
money at
power.
them.
Yeah, it's insane. Now they got Nate, and stage 1 was like they almost qualified. They finished in 5th with the same points of like Furia with 14 points, but I think like round differential, whatever, they didn't qualify. But it was a very good first stage. Nate got used to like top flight environment, and that's something some players need to adapt to calls and everything. And now I think that when the roster have been together for a long time, Patoxy and Neon have already got some experience. Perez, Baseto, they are young, but they have been here for some months now, and or even Perez a whole season. Nate has been incredible. Nate, for those who don't know, it's Fury Esports, Handy's brother, okay, who plays for Fury Esports. That's what I wanted to say. So I think that Black Dragons has a very young roster here, very talented, that has connected, and that they are going to get like they are going to qualify for the major. It would be a huge surprise if they don't qualify after what we have seen from the team. And the only problem Black Dragons had compared to stage 1 is that Nate, like Patoxy and Eon, had a very bad stage.
Yeah.
They were not getting the frags. They were just like struggling a lot. And Nate, who plays Buck and Sledge on attack mainly, and then Melusi on defense, was getting all those frags, all those entries. And now that Patoxia and Eon have been like better and that have been like getting the frags and everything, Nate can focus on his brawl, I think,
Yeah,
which makes the team be better. And
obviously,
I
yeah.
think that's the key. That's the key of like Black Dragons. Now that Patoxia and Neon are responding, Black Dragons is getting the results they wanted, and they are the only unbeaten side in the league. They have defeated Team Liquid, they have defeated FaZe Clan, they have defeated MIBR. So tomorrow's game against W7M, who is arguably one of the best sides in the league, is going to be interesting, especially because Black Dragon is in a six win streak in Brazil,
Yeah.
and W7M has the longest one with 8 matches.
8. Yeah.
So W7M could cut Black Dragon's streak tomorrow, which will
Yeah.
be like interesting storyline to look
I
forward
no,
to.
I think surely geez, I don't know, man. Like, by the way, if you're Brazilian, it just kind of like a side segue and like also like a plug as well. But you know, we have like betting available now for Brazilian people through our website on Betway, and every time I like you know we are helping promote that the betting and everything. Every time I like look at the odds and I'm like, these odds are like nonsense because like it feels like nonsense because anything could happen. Like BR6 is so close at this stage. Like imagine being the guy sat down at Betway trying to figure
Yeah.
out how much should I put the odds for Black Dragons to win?
You're
How
just
much should I
throwing a
put
coin,
Devils?
honestly.
You're
You're just
at
throwing a
this
coin
point
in
you're
the
just
air.
flipping a
Yeah,
literal
exactly.
coin
Flipping a
almost. If
coin.
it feels like it's so
Yeah,
hard.
true. Yeah,
So
it's just
you can win really big in that sense because like you just like blindly pick whichever the one offers higher odds. And you might still be right. So
yep.
I don't know. It's kind of a hashtag,
Yeah.
you know, like LTT store moment kind of thing for us. But yeah, go check out on like our match pages before and after. You can go bet on the games if you're Brazilian, Italian, or
Yeah.
Canadian. But
Yeah.
mainly, you know, it's for Brazilians. Yeah, so far.
If betting was my thing, I would bet for Liquid honestly. Like I
I
don't
was
know the
so
odds.
not
Honestly, I
bet.
haven't checked.
I would so not
I
bet
haven't
for
checked.
Liquid, dude.
I haven't checked, but the odds,
Yeah.
considering the stats and everything, the current form, I'm sure Liquid should be like something like €3 or something like that, or whatever,
Probably
or
if they're
reais or whatever you want to call it.
if they are if they're paying attention to the form, then yeah, Liquid are, like there might be some money to be made with Liquid, but it really seems like who knows what will happen at this point. It's a crapshoot. Yeah, that is basically BR6. I think that time
Let's
for us
move
to move
on
on.
to
Yeah, EUL.
EUL. Um,
Wow. EUL. Where do we begin? Like sloppiness galore, poor form.
I
The
love that we are going to say that G2's Berlin hopes are,
gone.
gone, but they are already in Berlin. So yeah,
Also, it's only week
that's the
2 for
thing.
them. Like let
Huh?
me. It's also only week 2 for Europe. Like let me just remind you guys. Like BR6 is like plowing through. BR6 is gonna play 5 and 6 days 5 and 6. NAL has already done days 5 and 6. They're gonna like next week. They're gonna be doing 7 and 8, and they're basically gonna be wrapping up like next to next week over in the
Yeah.
NAL. EL's
That's insane.
in week 2, but it still feels like
That's insane.
G2 are not making it to the Berlin major. They're gonna be in Berlin, yes, because they are
Yeah.
based in Berlin. But damn, it looks
It's a matter of
weird.
it's a matter of knowing if they are going to be on the stands or on the stage.
It's the question for me. I think that I'm gonna ask is like I saw a post, I think, of Fabian talking about G2. Let me see if I can pull it up. And he basically was saying that they hate playing with each other. I don't know whether that was an assertion or whether that was um like looking at them and guessing and like figuring out exactly how. Yeah, okay, I found it. So Fabian said this about G2 in Super's Twitch chat. They have zero leadership, zero discipline within the team, both in game and out. They have no structure, they have no trust, they don't enjoy playing with each other. I don't know about the rest of the stuff. The structure part, I agree. But as far as not enjoying playing with each other, I don't know whether that's like true or not, because like when I talked to them in Charlotte, they all they all seem like they were really enjoying each other's company, and they look like they were improving because they liked playing with each other. Like specifically, you remember that map that they lost because Alemao gave he got excited prematurely. He thought like the game had ended, that they won the clutch. It was a 1v2, but he thought it was a 1v1. Then Citizen downed one person. He's like, yes! And then Citizen didn't hear the other person coming because of that. And they like laughed it
Yeah,
off. They laughed it off. And I was like, wow. That is like remarkable, because that seems like G2 are looking like, yes, they are growing. This is what you need. You know, it's a super team, yes, but it's also a team of people who enjoy being around each other. I don't know whether Fabian is like guessing or he knows people like back in G2, or whether he's talking to some people inside or not.
yeah, maybe.
But because you see, when Fabian says something, especially pertaining to G2, I think we should all take notice.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
lack of discipline and leadership in game and structure in game, and no trust in each other in game, does show though.
That's very noticeable, I think.
You told me this week when I woke up, I must have a look at that Rogue game. So tell the audience why people should have been watching that Rogue game, that G2 vs Rogue game, because that was wild.
Okay, so there are two ways to know how to play Siege. One, going to SiegeGG and going to the newcomer section and have a look at the guides. And
which
second,
David writes, by the way, excellent guides if you're new.
Yeah. And second, and Olivia, shout out to Olivia, she does an amazing job. And second, watching that game, because it shows you what you cannot do in a game. Okay? So if you want to get better, if you want to be the new Spoit, which basically he was in the game, and he did pretty well. If you want to be a champion player in Siege, just do the opposite of G2. There were team kills. There were, I mean, you were talking about how the players were competing and like trust issues and all of that stuff.
According to
you could see it in Doki, I think. Doki lost some gunfights that in another game he wins every time. Daily Red, he wins it every time. They made some very stupid mistakes. Like I remember Alemão planting on basement. That deep clutch 3v1 clutch, I think. Alemão was planting in a very bad spot, just behind the bomb, but still not covered by the bomb. And Deepik just cut it, and he won the round. Honestly, very poor from G2 not getting the entry kill. It was like seeing a very 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 weak side. Like honestly, I don't know about I don't know. I'm not a good player at Siege right now. I played my ranked games and I might be in Silver 3 right now. But yeah, but uh, the performance maybe was not even European League worthy, you know? Um,
That looked very bad.
Broke
Yeah, yeah.
destroyed them, but destroyed them. And 5 minutes after winning the game, Spoit already took the screenshots and posted it on Twitter, and everyone was like the champion
Yeah,
player
yeah.
in you. When does a Spoit play? Just imagine a Rogue against TSM in Berlin. Oh my god. The two memes combined. When do Spoit and Bolo
Bolo
play?
play, yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing.
At this point, like, switching gears from G2 because like I don't
Uh-huh.
I like screw talking about them. Like they are looking really bad. Okay, someone else was planting an
Mhm.
Alamau peak for no reason. Okay, someone Bliss clarified it in chat,
Yeah.
but like it's I was watching the game basically, and specifically what came to mind was a contrast between G2 and Rogue. So you know how Rogue kind of like um tried to have like that NA roster, and it didn't really work out too well.
Yeah.
After that they came
Mhm.
over to you after, and they're stuck with like essentially this roster through thick and thin, through ups and downs, but they never really tried the super team attempt. The closest they've done is like this iteration of it, where they got Spoit, who is obviously this massive up and coming content creator, and they've got Kanto. They also changed up, that was last stage. They've got Deepak also coming in to the roster, and they're led by Meepy, even though they lost like Prano, they lost Aces, like big hitters. They look like a like super team in the making kind of a situation. You
Mhm.
get what I'm saying? Like on
Yeah.
one day you might be able to point to all these players and like, oh, these guys are like the best in their position. And let's not forget, at one point Leon Giz was considered one of the best players in the world. That was like back in 2019. All right, sure, it's been a while, but
Yeah.
he can
It's been
probably
a while,
recover
but
that form with Rogue. It's looking like it, and it's such a stark contrast to G2, who are like taking the best players at stage like 1 and then planting him into the team for the stage like X+1. So like, and like Hader has been talking about this. It looks like whenever all these teams do this, they're picking up players based on past form, but often that past form is like a short purple patch that doesn't continue into like the next stage. It lasts for one stage, two stage, and after that they kind of fall off because it, there's a reason why Paluh and Nesk essentially are considered the best in the world, or like why Canadian and Pengu also are in the conversation because they did that for like years. Pengu and Nesk and like Canadian and Paluh, these guys have been doing it for literal years. They've been keeping up this level of performance. Other people can't do it. 99% of even the pro league field cannot keep up the level of performance at this area.
yep.
So
Yeah.
G2, they've picked up Doki, strong AF player. They picked up Citizen, strong player. Alamau, everyone, Prano, Virtue, these guys are. That's the thing. These super teams are all on paper. At some point, we saw them play their best Siege, but we haven't ever seen them play their best Siege on G2. You see the point here? Whereas on Rogue, they're developing players. They're gonna stick with the shit parts, and then they're gonna get to the good parts, and the good parts are gonna be when those players are on Rogue, and that is when they're gonna kick on and gonna make a title run, like a realistic, legitimate title run where they can look like they can win.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that you've explained it very, very well. Completely agree with whatever you say. Yeah, I mean, Doki, for example, is a is an example of what you said. Kanto is in Rogues, so I mean we could talk about him as well. I mean,
Yeah,
Kanto is not
they picked him up.
playing his best Siege.
Correct. Like they picked him up after he had like a really bad time in G2, and he like
Yeah,
went off the grid almost. It felt like because he was
uh,
benched
yeah.
on
But I
G2.
mean, Kanto
But
is
it's like
Kanto.
it's a
Yeah,
new environment for him, and he seems to be doing okay. He's not going to
yeah.
reach the same heights, but you
Uh-huh.
know, there's other people who might be doing it. Spoit's inclusion, maybe in the future, maybe next major, you're gonna see Spoit
Yeah,
leading Rogue the way Bolo leads TSM.
yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Well,
But yeah,
that's yeah, that's those two guys. Um, Big surprise in EU though, if you didn't watch the games, especially, was looking at the results. How did both the Russian teams win? How did Poles destroy Navi
I mean,
17? What?
they were playing against Yukin teams, and you cannot expect anything about from Yukin people. But no, honestly, on
Please explain what the hell happened in those matches.
uh, honestly, I had very big hopes on Navi, and they basically fell apart. Like there was no game from them. Something happened. I don't know what. It's like very, very, very difficult to say, I think.
Mhm.
But that was something that you don't expect because they lost against Pons. And losing against Pons is something that
What? How?
it's kind of, um, you have to be worried if you lose against them. I don't have anything against Pons, and maybe they are getting better. Amision had a insane game. He got
Crazy.
14 kills
Yeah, yeah.
in 9 rounds, I think.
Yeah, 9 rounds.
And he was insane. Like he was insane.
That might be one of his best games ever, actually. Like
Yeah.
he's never looked that good, even when he was back
Mhm,
on like VP.
yeah. Thunder had a poor game, honestly. Thunder
Very,
is
very poor,
quite
yeah.
yeah, he's quite inconsistent. Um, Thunder is not playing in the role he's most comfortable in, and I think that in maybe another role we could see like the best from him. But yeah,
Smoke and Sophia, yeah.
no, he likes these operators. Um, but yeah, his best version was from Wizards
Mm.
when he was in Spain, and he was that guy who plays anchor in defense and more of an entry role on attack. Um, but yeah, it's not exactly the same in Navi. I'm not sure how to explain it. Um, but sometimes he has those good performances, maybe because he then feels comfortable, and then he just vanishes when things don't go as planned. But yeah, I mean, they played like in Cafe. They just won one defense, and winning just one defense in Cafe, you're going to lose the game. I know that the meta right now is a little bit more attacking sided, but this is one of the maps that defense is still a bit better, I think. So yeah, just one defense there makes a difference. Then you have Team Secret who lost against Outsiders. It's not that of a surprising result, honestly. I think that
Because Secret are really
most
that
most
bad.
of the casters had the team. Um,
Losing, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, Pasha had a really good game, and playing in Skyscraper, the team did a very good job, and there's nothing to point out. Honestly, I think that yes, Secret are not getting to where they want. Um, Clear relegation candidates, but I don't know. It's very complicated for Secret. I don't think they. I don't know. I don't like saves. getting to the team again. I think that they should have gone for another talent or someone who, I don't know, can bring another type of
Yeah.
Siege. But well, that's their decision, and we'll see if it pays off. But as of now, I don't see that happening. And next game they are facing Rogue, and we we possibly know what's going to happen there. Like Spoit's going to have some fun against Secret, I think. Maybe we see Titan. We will see Titan. Who knows?
Yeah, they look
But
better with like Titan. Like it's just I don't know what to say
well,
about Secret. It's just
no, it's a bit tough,
the
honestly.
casters have spent literal hours on the desk trying to figure out what's wrong with Secret, what's wrong with Navi, and I think even the analysts have like over there just given up figuring out. Clearly, the teams themselves don't know what's happening. So like the people outside of the team, they are definitely not gonna be able to figure it out. So like I think we don't need to really say too much about those guys. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap EUL up with like Heroic, and they had a really good win over BDS, and they're back in first place. Same round differential as Wolves, by the way. Same points as Wolves as well. 2-0-0-0 record so far. So early days, Heroic and Wolves looking very good.
Yeah. Heroic had a really good game against BDS. I really liked their game, especially on defense. On defense, we had Uno with the pulls, getting very valuable information. He had some really good plays with pulls and some kills that made a big difference. I think that was for me like the best player in the game. I know that Gorgona had an insane performance as well.
Yeah,
In
he
fact,
really
Gorgona, if
did.
I'm not mistaken, he clutched the last round.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. But overall, Heroic had a really, really good game, and BDS had a quite bad performance. If you watch the game, you will remember shortly round 11, where Shaiko clutch, no clutch, no, but he completes an ace. He gets the ace. The game could have ended there. And I feel like BDS was just a little bit lost, and Heroic were much better, especially because of Uno was very important, and obviously Gorgona. But yeah, it's just like I think that this could have been like a more one-sided result. Like Shaiko was the best rated player in BDS, and he saved the team in round 11, but he had a poor performance. Like he got 10 kills if I'm not mistaken, but 5 of them came in on round 11, and that's not what you usually get from Shaiko.
Well, I don't know what's happening with BDS, but yeah, the French counterparts are looking infinitely better than them, just growing from strength to strength. You know.
I just want to point out, BDS and G2 are facing this week.
Oh, the classic rivalry, but now it's like instead of a rivalry at the top, it's a rivalry at the bottom. 2 points versus 0 points, 7th place versus 10th place. Oh, how far the mighty have fallen, it feels like right now.
And remember that G2 qualified for the Charlotte Major.
Yes.
After
despite losing
being
7-1.
Destroyed by BDS on Clubhouse 7-1.
Yeah.
And Heroic was the hero of the day by winning
the old Heroic, right? Yeah, not even the new.
Rogue in a game that didn't matter to them. So, just saying.
Correct. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well,
that's
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to expect from like the BDS G2 matchup. Keep an eye out for Pones. they're up against like a fairly stern test in Wolves this week on Monday, so that should be pretty freaking exciting. And of course, the rest of the stuff, outsiders probably are gonna beat Navi again, because Navi got smashed by Poles. So yeah, exciting stuff happening over in EU. But I think it's finally time to talk
Yeah.
about NAL.
And we are going to start
Mhm.
by. I didn't show it, but look at this T-shirt.
Oh, I was wondering
It's
what
the.
that was.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's the shirt they released after winning the Six Invitational,
nice.
and I always wanted like a piece of cloth, like a shirt, like that those teams that win the Six Invitational and make something special. I wanted to have it, and I had to wear it for today because we are going to
Mm.
start with TSM. TSM are struggling. They started incredibly well, getting the results. They were like they got 10 out of 12 points in the first 4 games, and then they vanished. They have vanished. Against Exet, that was a very bad game. Geometrics, well, Geo clutched
Yeah,
a round with
1v3.
Monty. If you
Yeah,
remember that one,
I
I was
do.
watching that game. I think it was like my 1 a.m. or something like that. And I needed like 2 minutes to realize what happened.
Hmm.
Because that you don't expect that to happen in a top flight game. Like first of all, the Aruni, I don't know how he doesn't kill the Monty. Then the other defender tries to revive uh his teammate, and then Gio's Monty just like gets the 2 kills very easily. It was a very funny play. But
Hmm.
about TSM, they are struggling, especially now because Gio is not well. At least he didn't play last game. We don't know the reason. I think.
He just,
But
I think, just medical thing. That's all they said.
possibly, possibly,
No, no, like they said it's
possibly.
a medical thing, but like nothing
Ah,
beyond that. Just like what it is, we don't know specifically.
okay. Well, hopefully he is for the next game. Hopefully he's ready for the next game. Um, if you are not aware of who played, if you don't know who played in his place, it
Oh,
was
think
not Pollo. It was not Pojo Man.
yeah,
It was Gotcha.
gotcha.
Basically because the players felt like well, he tweeted this one.
Yeah, he did.
He felt the players voted and felt like Gotcha was better
Fit the
because
rules.
he
Yeah.
used to play similar roles to the ones Geo plays,
Hmm.
but it didn't work out. He was
He got
like
zero kills. He got
yeah.
0 kills. Yeah, 0 kills,
No, I
9
think he got one,
deaths.
but he was
No,
like
I
1-8.
really? Oh, okay.
Uh,
Did he?
I think I'm just talking like
Right. Okay. Let,
memory, but
let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick because like there were like a couple of rehos in that game, and I kind of lost
yeah, and I
track.
want to point out something. I want to point out something.
Let's see. Gotcha. Got, yeah, you're right. 1 kill. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Um, I'm not sure if you are aware.
Hmm.
Um, but so Exet won round 10, I think, on no, wait, they won round 9 on Kitchen, Billiard's Kitchen. Um, and then there was a technical pause.
Hmm.
They went to Aviator, they won Aviator, and then for
Oh
round
yeah.
11 they
They
went to
went back
Kitchen
to
again.
kitchen. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. That was because an admin or whoever was in charge of the game didn't block the sites, and the players, because then I realized the players tweeted out on Twitter. They realized it, but when the game was over, and they complained a little bit, and they said that that's something the admin should see or spot. We didn't realize, and blah blah blah. Um, regardless of that, Exit were on defense. They were dominating the game. And imagine Kitchen was blocked, and imagine they lost the round. They would have gone to Kitchen and win it in the next round. So it's not a big deal, but it's important to say that that happened.
Yeah.
And that we should pay attention to it. Maybe it happens in the future again, but well, hopefully not.
Yeah. The good news, as someone in chat kind of pointed out, is that TSM's schedule on paper looks fairly
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
coming up, but look, NAL's like,
I
holy
think
crap,
they
it's
face
so
Parabellum, Beast
tight.
Coast.
I don't think you can count those out,
Yeah,
man.
it is.
Like, dude, you have talked about this for 2 weeks in your NAL like key takeaways in like your
Mm-hmm.
previews. Like before this week, 2nd to 9th was separated by what, 3 points, 2 points?
Yeah, something like that.
And even after it, 3rd to 9th is all still like 3
2
points.
points.
It's not changing. It's so tight. The fact that
It's really
TSM
tight.
have an on paper easier route with like Parabellum, Beast Coast, they are not easy teams. The only easy team right now is Mirage, and even they just got a win. They just got the first win, and we'll talk about that, of course. But like, this is it's a concern at this point. Are they going to get left behind? They started off the season so well. They've been jumped by 3 teams now. They're down in 4th. Geo, basically, whatever it is, he needs to return quickly if TSM, it feels like if TSM have a hope. Or they need to figure out a way to like stuff Hojo Man in or get practice in with Gotcha or something, because otherwise all these teams will body TSM and TSM will end up looking like the stage 1 themselves again.
Yeah, honestly, looking at the rest of the schedules, I think that TSM is the easiest on paper.
Maybe Mirage, but yeah.
Maybe Mirage.
Maybe it's one game.
Maybe
but yeah.
Mirage. Okay, yes, but Mirage is not. They are still there, but Mirage is not going to qualify for Berlin.
Oh yeah, no, but like they could spoil a lot of people's parties. What I'm basically trying to get at.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay.
Because
that's true. I mean, they spoiled Beast Coast.
Yeah, they like. Oh, did you see the salt from Drip after the game? Do you see it on Twitter?
No.
He deleted it afterwards, but because Mirage got like are they still suffering or something? They're having like issues with with COVID. Yeah.
They're still playing outside the arena, so I guess yes.
Exactly. So Drip basically tweeted out, Lamau, we lost. Online Siege is a fucking joke. If you can't play because your dumbass team gets COVID, you should have to fucking forfeit. Bad teams get blessed by shitty rules.
Oh my God.
Extremely salty over there. And I think he went like 110 in that game, so that was pretty funny to see that. Yeah. And then Mirage's coach Christian is like, "Oh, you're the only team that lost to us online and to a coach, so don't think it's the rules' fault," which is fairly, I agree. And then also Sweater went, I think, a step even further, which is, I think, worse. I don't know whether they're going to sanction him for this, but he said, "Whose turn is it next to fake COVID for next match? Just let me know." Like, implying that Mirage faked a COVID diagnosis over here.
Faked.
Extremely childish. And
yeah, it's something that you shouldn't be saying.
I don't know what the NAL admins think of that Sweater tweet in particular, but that could get him in trouble because that's insinuating that the competitive integrity of the league has been broken, and that's being allowed to be broken.
Yeah, this kind of behavior shouldn't be allowed in any Siege game, honestly, regardless of being social media or regardless of being on stage like Burega. I think this. Honestly, I am the first person. I'm always. I always thought that having banter in Siege or in esports in general is something good. Like, you can say some things like G2's memes or this kind of attitudes some teams have. It's something that helps the scene, I think. But there are some behaviors or some comments that there is a red line, and the tweets that you have mentioned to cross the red line for sure. You can be like, spicy or whatever, but you cannot be disrespectful.
Yeah.
And when you are disrespectful and talking about COVID and everything, you are in a danger zone. And I think that, honestly, I think that he should be
He
he
should be
should get
warned, I
a
think, at
penalty or
least.
something.
At the very
Yeah.
least, there should be like a warning. Like,
Yeah,
you
a warning, very,
cannot,
very least.
you absolutely cannot bring the league into disrepute. Especially if what it seems like it's unsubstantiated rumors. If this is substantiated, there was proof, you bet your ass BC management would be on the phone to NL admins and saying, look, we have proof that Mirage are faking their shit.
That's one thing.
But look, they don't have the proof because this shit is being dropped out on Twitter by Surf, and that is, it's not conclusive. What if, even if they like have an inkling or something, or like someone joked about it, that we made a fake COVID diagnosis, haha, makes it easier. No, it doesn't make it easier. First of all, and second of all, it's like that's not. Just don't say that shit. Okay, it's very childish, and it's like bringing the league and Mirage basically into disrepute, which is not the case. Mirage, on the other hand, I actually felt like Mirage actually played well, and it feels like they have been knocking on this victory for a while now. Like, am I wrong? Because it feels like this win has been coming. They've lost like 2 matches, 7-5 or something, quite close.
Yeah. No, but they have definitely got better. I'm not sure if you watched their game against Oxygen, but
I did, yeah.
They had a really good start. They won the first 3 rounds. Then Oxygen asked for the technical, well, not technical pause, the
Tactical timeout.
tactical pause. Yeah, I forgot about the word. Yeah, thanks. And then that's when they something changed in the lineup and they started getting the rounds. But you can definitely see a progression. 7-5 against SSG, 7-5 against Oxygen, and now they are winning against Beast Coast. They are getting there. They are getting there. They are right now overall standings. They are in 10th. They are at the bottom of the standings, and they have just won 3 games, 2 of them against Beast Coast. In fact, Beast Coast has only won once against Mirage in the last 5 stages, which is important to notice, honestly, because if they didn't lose last season, they would have finished in 5th and they would have got more 6 invitational points. And who knows, the difference is going to make this week's loss against Mirage, because they could be in 3rd place right now with 12 points, but they are in 6th with 9.
They just needed to convert the SSG loss.
Considering the standings are so tight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
6 points would have pushed them up so far.
Considering that the standings are so tight, losing against a winless team is something unthinkable. You cannot afford to lose this game. And this can be differential. And this is going to be differential, you will see.
Yeah, because at this point, those like Mirage are just playing to improve. They're just playing for themselves. They don't care whose season they ruin, whose Berlin major hopes they crush, because they're out of it. So they're like bringing everyone else down. That's their goal right now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
BC is their first. I think they might get at least another win.
They might, definitely.
Yeah. It's good, but yeah, I think that's pretty good for Mirage, and look forward to them. And just closing out this NAL discussion is a question to talk about Sonics. Oh wow, you've just gone all green. What the? You're back. Okay. Right. Yeah. The final thing I wanted to talk about was Sonics and Space Station. Now, we know for Sonics, Super said before the stage started that if Sonics don't make the major, they are going to make a change. And in his recent AMA, which was, I think, just last night, Super did an impromptu AMA on the subreddit. He said the same thing. Like, he sees this, like, someone asked him, when do you, something like that. The question was something like, when do you plan on retiring? And he was like, soon, or like sooner rather than later, or something like that. And it was like very telling. So I really think, like, if Sonics don't make it, which is entirely possible given how crazy the NAL is, third to ninth separated by 2 points, it could happen. So we might see Super retire. We might see Sonics make another change. We might see Super become the coach or like co-coach with like Goddess or something like that. A few things that could happen. And that could shake things up. The other thing that Super said was, I think, a little bit more interesting. He said, someone asked him in the same AMA, what do you think SSG are going to do if they don't make Berlin? Which is very possible. And Super said they are definitely going to make a change. And I don't know whether this is speculation from Super's part, whether he has insider knowledge, because he does drop some insider knowledge every now and then publicly. SSG making a change would be quite something. And the question, I guess, would be, when would they make that change? Are they going to stick it out in stage 3 and wait for like the post-SI transfer window? Because there's going to be 2 transfer windows like after that. It's going to be the August one, there's going to be the November one now, the new November transfer window.
Yeah, exactly.
So how many players do they want to change? They can only do 2 changes.
I would go just for one. Nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The results have not been brilliant, but they are in the 6 invitational race. I think that they are going to qualify somehow. And making changes after stage 2 is a very smart decision, because you have stage 3 to get used to the team and to a new methodology and new strats or whatever. And then you also have like those 2-3 months to prepare for the 6 invitational if they qualify, obviously. But remember, we are talking of a side that didn't qualify for the Charlotte Major, and then right now they are in 8th place, I think, or 9th place.
8th, but like, look, 2 points away, as we've been saying a couple of times.
Now. So
whatever, like, placements, I think you can just close your eyes. Don't care about placements.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's so tight, it could be any place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think that it could happen, like a roster move for a Space Station Gaming. Yeah, hell yeah, it could happen.
Yeah. So the specific thing was, the specific question was, do you think anyone at SSG gets dropped if they don't make Berlin? And Super said just one word: yes.
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 If they don't make Berlin, then it makes sense.
David, the question is, in your opinion, who do you think makes way for whom on SSG?
Oof.
What do you even what do you change? On paper, these guys are like rock stars, right? They are so strong. You have Skies, Hot and Cold, bolstering 3 people who won SI 2020. What are you changing?
I would keep on for sure. Hot and Cold is staying. I would keep Bosco as well.
Yeah, I feel like you have to keep Bosco, right?
I would keep Rampy. Yeah, Rampy. I would keep him maybe.
So the people who are not performing like in this stage are Bosco, Skies, and Faults, like not performing being below 1.00 rating. But Bosco's Thermite Smoke, his 0.91 solid. He's got 10 plants. All right, he's got 10 plants. So he's doing his job. He is untouchable. Hot and Cold's the best. Rampy, as you said, second best on that team. So then it comes to the supports. Faults and Skies.
What about dropping Skies
I think that
and
might be it.
signing Kanzen?
They tried, didn't they, or something? That was the transfer window rumor,
Yeah.
the reports that we heard internally, but obviously it didn't materialize
know.
and we didn't report on them. But we heard, right? Like
Yeah.
SSG wanted Kanzen, or I don't know whether this is pre-SI, or sorry, pre-stage 1 or pre-stage 2, but I'm very certain they tried to grab Kanzen. And like SQ fought them off. Kanzen's doing really well again, after that blip in stage 1. I don't know what they'll do. If I were, a betting man, I would say they're gonna try maybe grab, like, I don't know, one of the Beast Coast guys, the supporters, like Slash or something. They might try get Slash in.
Okay, makes sense.
As like someone to replace Skies, just a guy who's like got experience, sure. But I don't know whether that would be the right move. There's a few options they can pull from T2 as well, which is where LATAM, or rather Brazil, is finding success. There's like talks of Asian, but Asian might be earmarked by Sonics to replace Super himself, depending on what happens, I guess, in the final 3 weeks of 2 weeks. 2 weeks of NAL. The upcoming week and the week after that, and that's it. So it could be a few things, but as far as who I think is going to get dropped, I think you're right. Skies is like the more likely of them.
Clear, yeah.
No, not really clear, but like just because of the fact that just because of the fact that Faults won SI, Faults has rapport with Rampy and Bosco and Lycan and Luke, of course. And Solve, of course, not forgetting him. He's proven to have won like a world championship. Skies hasn't, like he did in Xbox, but that's like no one cares. It's only for stats. Yeah, if I had to bet, it would be Skies getting dropped. We might see a very different NAL in stage 3, I'm thinking, depending on who qualifies.
Stage 2 might be the most busy transfer period, because teams, is what I said before, teams want to get ready for stage 3, get as many SI points possible.
Yeah, and get ready for the SI qualifier run if they need it.
You also give players the time to adapt to new players, new strats, and everything. Just like Team Liquid did after the Mexico Major. Despite finishing in like the top 4. I don't know, it's gonna be interesting, and yeah, I think it can look like very different.
Yeah. Well,
should we go for the?
I think we have wrapped up the chat about NAL. We don't have any NA homers in SiegeGG anymore. But no, yeah, before we move on, I guess we're just updating since now it's out in the public. Hunter's no longer with SiegeGG, and it's a shame that that's the case. But he's moved on to a new chapter in his life, and stepped up to the SBJ Sports Business Journal, which is a big like step up. He's going to be reporting on the business of esports now, and he's an excellent person. We are definitely going to miss him, but we are going to continue to bring you the same quality that he has helped us reach in his short time here with us. Yeah.
Big news.
Big stuff. But that's personal.
Exactly. Yep.
Speaking of personal, shall we get personal with the stats game?
That game, let's go.
All right.
Do you start or do I start?
Who started last week? Do you remember?
I think you started.
All right, then you start. We'll do this coin flip style. 1 week me, 1 week you.
I do Brazil and Europe as last week.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's start with Brazil. And I'm going to be easy on you. I'm going to go easy on you. Rating. Rating 1.30.
Mm-hmm.
KD 50 and 35. Entry 17 and 6 plus 11. KOST of 79%. Mains Finca and Mute.
Repeat that again. One more time.
Yep.
Think I'm mute.
Rating 1.30.
Yeah.
KD of plus 15.
Pino.
Yeah, it is Pino.
I was like because the thing is I was like this mute. Think I'm mute was like the giveaway because I was looking at the stats earlier today and I was looking at BR6 and I was like seeing how far down like Paluh and Nesk were and I was like he's like the only guy who's doing Finca and mute. So yeah, that's Pino. Thanks. That was easy. All right.
That was. I thought that the entry kill would like give you that
Yeah, no,
entry
I
kill
was
17-6. That's insane.
yeah, no, because I know that personally the Finca mute thing. Okay. I'm gonna start you off with an A. All right. Yeah. So starting with an A. This guy, he's got a 1.07 rating. He is 57-48 in terms of KD, 8-6 on entry, so he takes a lot of entry fights, but he doesn't always win them. It's almost like a coin flip for him. And this guy's got a cost KOST of 63%, and he plays Sophia Alibi.
Ooh, that alibi.
Yeah, the
I
mains are
remembered.
unique.
Yeah, but I remember Gunnar having alibi as a main when I was writing the the article, but I think that Gunnar's rating is way higher
Mm-hmm.
than the number you said. What was the rating again?
1.07.
Takes a lot of entries.
14 entries, but only plus 2.
Would it be? Would it be Grixer maybe?
Grixer? No, that is not Grixer. Grixer is actually doing a lot better than 1.07. But close. I would say like close in terms of like
I was
the
thinking of.
stats. One last try.
You said he's doing way better, so I guess it's a team in the middle of the pack. Pambazu, no, impossible. Grixer, nope. Gunnar, nope. Sweeter, I don't think so. Nah, impossible. Could it be? Oh wait. When does he play? When does he play?
I don't know. When does he play?
Yeah. Is it Bibolo?
Yes, it is Bolo. This guy.
Okay, fine. Let's go.
Yeah, he
Let's
is.
go.
He is the only Zofia and Alibi main. I don't think anyone has that exact combination. There's, as you said, a bunch of Alibi mains. There's a bunch of Finca alibis, but they don't have any Zofia alibis. So
Alibi with the shield
yeah,
and
well,
the side.
cool. Okay, your turn next.
Going for Europe, which I have to find because I didn't. Okay. Um. Mm-mm. Okay, this one. Okay, you might get this one for the
Mm-hmm.
main operators. Um, Rating of 1.30 again. KD of 25 and 15,
Mm-hmm.
so plus 10. Entry 4-2 plus 2. KOST of 65%. Mains Twitch and Kite.
Why can't this guy's European, right?
Yeah, it is.
So he's one of the European leaders right now, and I swear we talked about him just now. We did, didn't we? We
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we freaking mentioned him. Is it Bibu?
Okay, I'm going to give you a clue. We didn't mention him.
Ah,
Did you say Bibo?
yeah. Okay, yeah. Is it
It's not
Bibu?
Bibo. No,
Oh,
it is not.
okay. We mentioned Shaiko. We mentioned Amision, who you said went to the top after his
Uh,
performance.
Amision has a ridiculous rating of 1.69.
Oh god. Oh god.
No, it's
That is
not him.
nuts. Damn. Uh uh I couldn't tell you, man. I really couldn't. Bibu was my guess. The mains were Zoph and sorry,
The mains are Twitch and
Twitch and
Kite.
Kaid. What the hell? Like a fragging
Exactly.
operator and a hard support? What? I would say a G2 player because it's so absurd, but G2 hasn't been performing anywhere near as well to get a
Jeez, I cannot believe
1.30.
you're not gonna get it. Jeez.
I'm sorry, I don't follow the EUL that closely. They
Yeah,
are the worst timing for me. BR6 and A, at least I can catch a little bit when I wake up.
yeah.
All right,
You
who is
will
it?
understand later.
Who is
It's
it?
uses.
Oh, Yuzus.
That's why I say
Damn, yeah,
jeez.
no, I'm telling you, I have barely paid attention to Eminem particularly. They haven't really been in my conscious.
Yeah, they are there still.
Yeah,
We'll see. Yeah.
cool. Very interesting.
Uh,
Okay.
time for APAC, I guess.
Yes, it's time for APAC to close this one out. Ooh. Oh, this one's a doozy. Oh, it's gonna be fun. 1.09 rating
This one is a what?
is gonna be fun. It's a doozy.
One what? The rating, sorry?
1.09 rating. 3629 KD. 6 and 4 on the entry. And
Okay.
Ace and Mute.
What?
Yes, he is an Ace and Mute.
What? I mean, it's APAC. Why do I
Why
act
are you
like
surprised?
surprised?
Yeah. Why are you surprised?
6-4.
Ace and Mute.
Ace and Mute. Wow.
1.09 plus 7 KD plus 2 entry. 6 and 4.
I cannot think of any like
Alright, you want me to give you a clue?
ace.
I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
If you haven't been watching Stage 2, the mains wouldn't make sense for this player. It would not make sense to have this player on these operators if you haven't been watching Stage 2.
Okay, I mean,
It really
just
doesn't. It
because of
still
the
doesn't make
end
sense.
skills,
Yeah.
yeah, the entries and the operators don't make any sense.
Yeah, he's taking 10 entries on Ace. What?
Exactly. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
When does he hard reach something? Like, I don't get it.
That should give
okay,
you a
so
hint. That should be a big hint for you.
Yeah,
in my
it is a
opinion.
big hint because now I'm thinking of
Which team is so
Fraggers in
idiotic?
APAC.
Which team is
I'm
so
thinking-
idiotic to play the ace on entry?
I don't know, because the other day I remember and I checked the Damwon Kia stats, and Rin is not there, and he always plays Sophia. So
Yeah.
APAC North. Then you have APAC South. APAC South, you have first Elevate, maybe, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna speed
Gaming
this up.
Gladiators.
This is an
just
Apex
don't
South
remember.
player. Apex South player playing ace and
thinking-
mute and taking lots of gunfights on entry.
I'm going to say. Mm, I don't know. Speakeasy, let's say. I don't know.
Ding ding ding! You're right. It is Speakeasy.
No.
The freaking decision of IG
What?
to take the best player, put him on ace and mute, and then continue to send him on entry
wait, what?
duels. This man has been on ace for most of the rounds in the 3 matches that have been played so far.
What?
It is absurd to think. Speakeasy.
Okay, against the Knights, he mained Ivana. Against Gaming Gladiators, he mained Ivana as well.
Yeah, but like
Okay, well, but
overall,
he was like hard-breaking,
yeah.
And then he made it ace in the game against Elevate.
Yeah, which
No
was
way, come on, that's unfair.
which was
That's
Max
playing
OT,
with my
yeah.
feelings.
I don't understand
Oh my
what
God.
IG is doing with that. But well,
Very old formula.
like you would think they have Nate, the hard breacher on their team, who is really good at
Yeah.
hard breach. And he does play support / flex support, and you see him like popping over Thermite a couple of rounds. But Speakeasy is somehow the primary hard breacher, or I don't know whether he's playing it for the gun or what. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what's going on with Speakeasy, because he has been IG's best player. He's been Apex South best player for most of Apex South since Apex South existed, but only this season he's not looking like the same guy. Well, I think that's pretty much it. We are basically almost 2 hours into this episode of SiegeGG Live. As we said at the start, it wasn't as exciting as last week's one. I think last week's one was really superb because we got like a couple of leagues really getting into gear. This week was like a settle down or like wait and see what will happen. Not really. Like things are happening, of course, but you gotta wait and see what they mean for the future. So we'll see next week. Things will be a lot more clear. We should by next week have 1 or 2 Berlin major teams, particularly from the NAL. But, and I say a big but, like it is NAL. Who the hell knows? Maybe like the top 2 teams, Oxygen and like Exet lose their games. Or was it Parallel? Exet, yeah. Oxygen and Exet, they lose their matches, and then like everyone else catches up, and no one qualifies because everyone can still technically qualify on the same day, which is very possible in NAL. So we'll see what happens, but we'll have a better idea, I think, maybe of what will shape up. We'll have a better idea in EU too. People are screaming doom and gloom. It's only been 2 weeks though. We'll see whether EU can show signs of improvement. We'll see whether Japan can show signs of improvement. And yeah, we might even get actually an APAC qualifier for Berlin, depending on what goes on. And I think that is it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. I've been Shikhar, and with me, the one and only David, wearing the TSM World Championship shirt. And we'll
the
see
Mickey
you.
Mouse shirt.
We'll see you next week, same time, 1:30 p.m. UTC, which is 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Ciao.